This video focuses on the differences between major material and minor material as it relates to the OpenPoint system. Major material is the starting point for building construction units in OpenPoint. A major material item, such as a pole, conductor, conduit, or a streetlight fixture, is the predominant material which, after installed in the field, becomes a unit of plant in a continuing property records ledger. Major material items typically have the following characteristics. The cost of the material is great enough that it should be considered major, typically something more than $50, but the utility should determine what that approximate threshold should be. Note that there are exceptions to this amount, such as conductor or other linear material that is recorded by the foot and the value per foot is much less than $50, but those items have one of the other characteristics for determining a major material, such as the utility staff want to track the material in the inventory system for reordering purposes, purchase information, inventory audits, updated average unit cost, etc. Or the utility staff consider the material as a unit of plant in and of itself, so it's shown as a separate unit in the continuing property records ledger. If a utility has OpenPoint map, the utility staff wants the capability to identify these material items or units on the map. Major material items are issued to construction work orders, and the cost of that material is added to the job, along with labor, equipment, and other overheads or other outside costs to eventually come up with an overall average unit cost for that particular unit. Major materials are audited at the end of each year by taking a physical count of each item and comparing it to counts in the inventory system in OpenPoint. Any discrepancies are researched and fixed as able, and any remaining discrepancies are adjusted to the actual physical counts so that counts in the warehouse remain in sync with the inventory system. Major material items are attached to a major warehouse in the OpenPoint system to differentiate between items that are major from items that are minor material items. So next we're going to talk about minor material items. Minor material could be defined as any inventory item that is not the predominant component of a CPR unit, has a minor value, such as a value less than $50 or any other amount adopted by a utility that is acceptable to the utility's regulatory body, or there doesn't seem to be a standard rule on this. The dollar amount selected isn't rigid since prices of material can fluctuate over time, and like material will be considered minor even if one size or a style of like material exceeds the minor material threshold, such as a 14-inch bolt being slightly more expensive than a 10-inch bolt. Or material that has a higher cost than the threshold the utility chose is used very infrequently, and it's not useful to the operations staff to be tracked as a CPR unit. That may also be considered a minor material. Other characteristics of minor materials are that most utilities do not want to track a minor material with the same level of effort as the major material. The cost to do so may be disproportionate to the cost of the material itself. When the minor material is purchased, most utilities charge the cost to a material overhead account, such as stores clearing, at the time of the purchase. These costs are typically loaded onto the cost of major material through a percentage markup established by the utility, or some other method allocating the cost. And in the OpenPoint system, you can go into the system setup to actually put your material overhead percentage right in the system settings so that for every material that's issued to a job, in the work order system, it will get another percentage for the material overhead. Most utilities do not care to know where every bolt or piece of minor material is installed on its system, the year it was installed, or the installation cost, like they do with the major materials. Such knowledge of the minor materials isn't significant from an operations or an accounting perspective, and the utility therefore does not consider a bolt to be a CPR unit in and of itself, like they do with a pole. If a bolt is replaced on a crossarm, but the crossarm itself is not replaced, there is no need to retire the original install cost of that bolt. Whereas if the crossarm is replaced, the original installed cost of the crossarm, which is considered a unit, would have to be retired off the books. Most utilities establish a separate virtual warehouse in their inventory system for their minor materials. Showing on the screen here is the main E, which is considered the main warehouse, the main major inventory warehouse, and then this other warehouse, which is MM, which is an abbreviation for minor material warehouse. So it can stand out on purchase orders or pick lists or any other transaction screens as a minor material. And when that material is set up in the OpenPoint system, the material code for the minor material might have the word minor in front of it or MM in front of it so that it designates that it is a minor material rather than a major material. Some utilities want to maintain certain details about minor materials in the inventory system, yet not track the value of the minor materials in an inventory control account. For example, a utility may wish to use an inventory system to order minor material and have access to the purchasing history, but they will never enter a receipt of the shipment or invoice of the shipment because they don't care to track the counts and the dollars in their inventory system. So that represents a high-level summary of the difference between major and minor material within OpenPoint. If a utility has specific accounting questions regarding major or minor material, they should contact either their auditors or the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin.